Hey everyone, welcome back to Classic Movement. My name is James, and thank you so much for being with me today. I really appreciate it. If you're one of my 7 subscribers, thank you so much. I'm under the impression that those 7 people are possibly just close friends and family. I don't have any expectation just yet, and I'm barely a blip on anybody's radar, and I kind of like it because it frees me up to do whatever I want. I have absolutely nobody or any kind of data pushing me into doing something that I might not want to do yet. And I hope I never have to get there and make that decision. I want to always do what I want to do, and that's the whole point, is the kind of freedom that I get from this. My metric for success is also, am I learning? Am I having fun? Am I reaching somebody out there? Am I bringing joy to their lives? Am I reaching a goal of mine in the process? That's the metrics that I really care about. But because I'm taking the whole business thing seriously, you have to also pay attention to the little minutia, the little details of growing a channel, and also trying to reach people, create a brand, and all of that. But it's really secondary, I guess, because I'm an artist first, businessman second. That's just the way I see it, and I don't want that to kind of change. It's a side hustle. It's not how I make my primary finances yet, or ever, possibly. So I don't want it to ever be more than that. If it does, well, I'll deal with that if that happens, Okay, so that being said, I wanted to give you guys a quick update on what's going on with the business side of things. So after I got my business registered, I was able to go to a bank and open up a business account. That's completely separate from my personal stuff, and there's exactly $0 in that bank account, which is kind of weird. I'd say, hey, what's going on here? You big bank, you guys got a couple of coins back there. Maybe you could just throw a couple in my bank account. And they're like, no, sorry, it doesn't work that way. And I'm like, I tried. But so now I gotta figure out a way to fill up that account. I'm gonna screenshot the day and time of when this account was created, so that in a year from now, I could look back and see if I put a small dent. And like I said, expectations are low, and it's all good. Money is not the driver here. It's not the primary driver. Okay. Other than that, this is a 2-part episode, and it's just because I think it makes sense to split it into 2 parts. There's enough content here with the first part, but the second one is directly connected with this one. So I did one S2000 design, one NSX design, and I'm gonna have to do one of the CRXs, right? And I looked at a photo. I did the same thing I did with the NSX, guys. I don't know why I'm doing this. I kind of look at a picture for inspiration, and I select it in my mind. I start drawing the character right away. I don't even bring it in and then draw the character on top to try to, no, I just know it's gonna work out, and it worked out on the NSX. So I did the same thing here. It's kind of weird. And this entire episode's basically drawing without any kind of background, but I did test it real quick. At one point, you'll see it in the time lapse. There's a quick pop there where I tried it out, and then I went right back to evolving the character. So let's start the time lapse. Let's look at how that design evolved, and at the end of the video, stick around, because there's something that I wanted to discuss really quickly with you guys. I'm gonna make an entire episode on it later, probably more than one. It's gonna come back often, but there's something I want to talk to you guys about, so stick around for that. All right, let's kick off the time lapse. We start off horizontally, as I did on a lot of my other designs. I wasn't too sure. Actually, it doesn't really matter. I think I realized that anyways, because I could always rotate it later on. I'm gonna scale it down. I want to put some details and start with the face of the character here. And there you go, I rotated it already early on. And I'm just trying to figure out, what do I want here? Because again, guys, I'm not looking at a design. I'm not looking at a reference. I'm trying to go off my own creativity, and I'm going to eventually go and get into references, and it'll look a lot better. I know it will. Everything will look, because you have all the information given to you, the positioning and the scaling of things, and the idea is already there. You've already selected it. But here you see I'm figuring it out, and I see how I added a lollipop. And I'm going for a playful Japanese girl, playful koi, you know, teenage Japanese girl that is a typical Fast and Furious Japanese car girl, you know. And here you go, I go full body, and I'm posing her. I'm trying to figure out, you know, what she's doing with her body here, and I'm using different techniques of cutting out arms and legs and rotating them and repositioning to try to figure out. And then I start, once I locked in that pose, I liked it, I start adding in the details of what she is and how she dresses. And you got the, I'm thinking Austin Powers here, guys. You guys know what I'm talking about. The twins, can't really say their names, but you know what they are. And she's fitting the vision that I have. And this is where I decide, hey, they're twins. And it's kind of funny, I actually call the two CRXs I have the twins. And it made sense. I go, why don't I add a second character, and then I'll implement both of them into a design, or maybe separately. I wasn't sure, but I'm like, I have space. Let's get into the second design. So I just, boom, start to outline. I'm not too sure, again, what she's doing, but I didn't want her to look exactly the same. I also didn't want her to have the same pose. And, you know, I want to make her a little bit more dynamic. So she's actually facing away from us, and she's got her head turned back. And you see, I added a wink to the to her look, because it gives her some personality, and she's being cute. You know, she knows she's cute, and she's playing around there. She's telling us that yeah, I know I'm cute, guys. So that's what the wink is all about. And she's got a little turtle backpack, because why not? I'm like, you know, I could just draw her back, but I'm like, let's give her something again to add to her cuteness. And you see the leg there, I made a duplicate because I wasn't sure what I wanted, and I kept the first leg I did. Oh, let's stop right here. This is where, oh, okay, things are moving around a lot. We're gonna come back to this at the end of the video. With this flickering you're seeing, we're gonna discuss it later. That's what I was mentioning. But you saw there how I went back and added the background image. That was the first time I brought it in and started testing things around, just to see how these characters would integrate with the image that I had. So and I was satisfied, so I got rid of it. I went back to vertical, and then I kept going, basically. So what you're seeing here is what I typically do, and a lot of artists do. I've mentioned this in the past, which is you have a design, it's kind of messy, your lines are all over the place, and instead of trying to clean it up directly, you make a duplicate of that image, but you clean it up. So you put it in the background, you play with the transparency of your original, and then you add your layer on top, and you try to draw over it, and you try to avoid as much as possible going over your lines. You wanna, as much as possible, do one single line to communicate the shape of what you're doing. And that's what I'm doing here. You see there's a lot less hashing and a lot less, just a lot less messiness in what I'm doing. It doesn't look like there's a lot happening, but it's all little micro adjustments that I'm making here and there. But trust me, when I'm there, you can see it really small here on the turtle here. I'm adding just a little bit more detail around him. But soon I'm gonna be attacking the second character. I'm just trying things out here. I'm still rusty, guys, when it comes to inking. Especially, I never think of myself as a good inker. I'm not always sure about what I'm doing in terms of like inking and getting the shadows right. The only thing I was really sure of was the shadow under her dress there, where the legs connect. I know that's gonna be black. That's, you know, everything else I'm kind of feeling it out. So now I'm slowly starting, and I'm going very light and slow, but I'm adding the clean art on the second character, and I really like this one. I don't know which character I like more, but maybe this one, I'm not sure. But her face looks really nice. It came out really good, considering I'm not looking at anything, like I mentioned. And here I'm just giving more definition and cleaning up the lines for her clothing. So I got her wearing a she has an open blouse, obviously, you know, and it's tied up, and she's looking good. She's looking good, you know, typical car girl from the year 2000. That's what I would classify her as. And I'm adding more details now into the feet, the shoes and stuff, and again trying to avoid doing too much overlapping of my lines, and it's looking really nice. It's coming along. Adding some, I gave this character a belt on her dress. I thought it needed it, and then when I realized the other one didn't have one, I actually went back and added a belt to the second one. So like I said, I'm feeling things out, and when something feels good, then I'll go with it, you know. So adding definition here to her hair, it looks like, and just generally all around. Here you go. This is what I basically just mentioned. So I added the belt also to the first character on the left. And this is where finally the color starts to come in. I decided, okay, look, that's as good as it's gonna be. So I'm working on a separate layer now, and I'm adding the color to it little by little. And I'm not too sure of the colors I want, but you know, you got to start with something, and it could always be changed later on. If everything is separate on a layer, it gives you a lot of adjustment potential later on. So I'm going with blue, I think, because you know, it would look good up against the yellow car. Yellow and blue are a nice combination. And I'm adding the details you saw to the turtle backpack, and now just a lot of the highlights and the shadows. So I just have a base color, and then a highlight layer, and then a shadow layer. That's what I tend to start with. And now I'm playing around with the shadow layer and making some parts a little bit lighter that are too cut and too dark. And I'm just doing that for both characters, kind of like simultaneously. And I'm also playing with the filter on the shadow layer to see how it's affecting the image, you know. And you notice the lighting, I mean, you have to make a choice. Where is it coming from? And in both cases here, the light seems to be coming more from behind them than in front of them. They are actually like in contre-jour, as we say in French. The light is coming from behind them, and it's because the image that I planned for them has a very bright light coming from behind. The source is behind them. So I'm already thinking of that as I'm doing the shadows and the lighting direction on their skin. So it's coming along here. I'm really getting satisfied with what I'm seeing, and I think they're really going to match well. Although there's still some work to do once I get to the integration, and you guys will see that in part 2. So here I'm adding those typical I don't know what you call that, that plaid skirt that I guess the schoolgirls used to wear in those days. And I go with a color, even though, like, again, I could change it. I think I went with red for this picture. That closes up the time lapse. That this is how it ended up. We could take a closer look at how everything is, and I'm super happy with it. I think it looks super nice, really clean. The highlights, I love this girl's wink, the character that she has in her face, and the volumes, the shapes. The little turtle is just epic, so cute, and the proportions are nice. I don't know, I'm happy with it. I think they're gonna work out really well. So that concludes the first part of this design. We're gonna get to the second part in the next episode, but before I close this one out, I have just a quick message that I wanted to share with you guys. So let's get to that, and then we'll say goodbye. All right, thanks for staying after school with me on this one, guys. That little tidbit I want to add to this video is about a test that actually occurred during the process of creating these two characters. You may have noticed some flickering at some point, and I glanced over it, and I'm gonna address it now. So basically what happened is, and I had planned this ahead of time, I was gonna try my hand at AI and see, I was just curious to see what it would do with a task. And the task I gave it here, and I believe I used Gemini for this. I told Gemini, take this sketch, the one you're seeing here, and clean it up. Make it ready to color, basically. And it was an interesting result. And I'll show you exactly what it did, which is this right here. And at first glance, I was really impressed. It basically pumped this out in 15 seconds, and it's faster than I ever could have done it, for sure. And the thickness of the lines are perfect in the character, and how it applied the thickness, you know, for things that are closer, and thinner for things that are a bit further, and not too heavy on the hairs. It's pretty nice, but things fall apart quickly under examination, and it just solidified my feelings about AI and mixing it with art. It shouldn't be used. And so let's get into that real quick. One, it removed the wink from this character here on the left, which really upset me, because that, I found, gave her a lot of personality. I don't know why it did that, why it thought it was okay to do that. Two, this character's eyes are like cockeyed. I don't know why. It looks like something's wrong with her now. And it just looks a little weird. Three, and it didn't even occur to me right away, I had to really study the picture, but for some reason it added more clothing to the character than it originally had in the sketch. If you look at the original here, they were a little bit skimpier dressed. The one on the left is wearing a kind of tank top. The one on the right has a blouse that is drooping over her shoulder and revealing a bit of her bra strap. And it added that more clothing, almost like it's trying to add more decency or something. Like, I don't know what it was thinking, but I was really upset that it was changing so much of my design, when all I said was clean it up. And I'm like, yep, that's why I don't like AI. And then this turtle here ended up with an extra set of legs, and now is definitely more of a mutant, not a ninja turtle, because it'd have to add a sword, but it's definitely a mutant turtle. Other than that, on the lower half of each of the characters, it does look pretty good. It doesn't look that there's a much changes going on. It did a really good job around the dress line. I'm not sure about why it has these hash marks on one leg and not on the other, but that's a small detail. But the changes that it made elsewhere, it was really upsetting, and it just confirmed what I thought about AI. I'm never gonna use it going forward. And if you guys are curious, this is my cleanup. This is what I ended up with. So, I mean, even in the face here, on the one on the right, look at what I did, right? And look at what AI had. I personally think I did a better job. And I'm not saying I'm better than AI. I think AI will kick my butt 99% of the time. Not that I care, but you know, it'll definitely kick my butt and do it faster. But on this particular subject, I think I did a better job with the face, and I'm pleased with what I ended up with. Plus, there's no inconsistencies here. If you look at the original sketch versus what I did, let's just take it out. If you go from this, look at the turtle. I had that. This is how I cleaned it up. Look at the face, the wink. This is how I cleaned it up. You know, the face of the other one on the right here, I did a better job of cleaning that up as well. The clothes are consistent from one to the other as well. No big changes there. So that's pretty much it. That confirms it, and you guys know that the final result was this. So you can see that I never used the AI one. I stuck with what I did, and that's what I have in the end, and I'm perfectly happy with that. And the journey was part of the trip. I learned more from it than anybody is going to learn from prompting AI. So that's pretty much how I want to close the video. I want to show you guys that and share that with you guys. Thank you so much for staying till the end of the video. Stay tuned for part 2 of this design. that I got going. And if you haven't done it yet, don't forget to subscribe and like and do all that good stuff. And I'll catch you on the next one. All right, guys? Later.